Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Unscripted Coding. Today we are going to be working on a really small project, but I'm excited because we're bringing back the Oculus Quest. We did this a few videos ago where I tried to program something with the Oculus Quest. We used Immersed VR, and honestly, my experience wasn't great. There was massive lag with the mouse and the keyboard, so every time I typed or moved my mouse, I had to second guess, wait for the cursor to kind of show up in the right place. And that said, I also have the Oculus Quest 1. The resolution can be better, and it's a little heavier than the new Oculus Quest 2. That said, I think there was real potential, and so when there's all this discussion in the comments, I was looking for any excuse to come back into it. And, there was things about, I can change the screen to a darker contrast. I'm sure all of those help little bits of the way, but the one thing that really sold me, that got me really excited, is that the Oculus Quest has a browser, a multi-window browser, and I'm thinking something that's baked in right into the system, an official app, is hopefully going to be a better experience. So I'm just gonna put this on. Check that you guys can see the screen. Perfect. Here we have it. Let me just get my hands out here. This is the browser, and so I originally wanted to do this all in front of your screen, try and figure out the best way to do this completely brand new, but I had a few problems. Turns out, I needed to get the right updates, restart my device, and get all of that happening. But now, I'm quite certain I kind of sort of know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is my home screen. I go into the Apps tab, I go into a browser, and I can kind of resize the browser a little bit, and let's just go, no. The big thing is that you can go into your settings and into experimental features, and you can pair a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard. So I was very excited to find out maybe an hour ago that all this time, I knew you could pair a Bluetooth keyboard. What I also knew was that the mice doesn't work, and so a very recent update brought mouse support. So I can use a mouse. I'm using a mouse right here. I don't think you can quite see it in my video, but you're just going to have to trust me that I'm using a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard. So with a mouse, I get a lot more control that I'm familiar with. Can just get right back into the browser. Okay, so the Bluetooth pairing process is exactly as you'd expect it. I shut off my two, controllers, so I'm just using my hand. I find that, I find these kind of circles kind of distracting, but we'll see. I might leave the controllers off to the sides just to have it kind of sort of tracking, but out of the way. But what do I want to do here? Let's just go right in, google.com. and take a look at Google and see how this looks. So my impressions right off the bat is that this is sharp. I can read all of this text if I scroll down. Here we go. If I scroll down, I can see, I can read in a way that I wasn't able to in Immersed VR. I think part of it is Facebook has clearly worked on their interface, and this contrast is there for a reason. They've zoomed in the browser for a very good reason. but, you know, I think it's huge. The original idea is I can bring a laptop to a coffee shop, wirelessly connect my Oculus to the laptop, and see 3 or 4 different monitors. But if I'm just using the built-in browser, I don't even need to bring a laptop. I just bring a mouse and keyboard, and, you know, some of these can get fairly small and light. This is not the lightest keyboard. There are these like foldable ones that you can totally stash just about anywhere. Okay, let me just go back in, reset my view. Okay, so now dead center, ergonomic, very good. Let's go to Reuters. See the text here. Let's pick something not... Let's pick something nice and simple. Just say, the scrolling isn't all that intuitive. Ooh, cool. Prices soar for Pokemon cards. This text is huge. Like, it will take you a while to scroll down. And I don't know why the scrolling is just a bit funky. Yeah. Scrolling is a bit funky. But I saw before that you can zoom out. So let's get to a more standard kind of size. And yeah, I'm seeing, you know, I don't want to bash this in any way, because I think it is significantly sharper than it was on Immersed here. But, you know, I am starting to see a bit of fuzz around the edges. Let's just... Oh, actually, that looks pretty good, even at such small text. So, infinitely more readable than Immersed VR. I don't know why Immersed VR had such big problems. Okay, so we have a browser. Is that really what we want to do? No, there is a way to have multiple screens. That's right. So you can have up to 3 browsers, and oh, your hands are hidden when you have a mouse. Okay, that is very helpful. That is a good idea. So what I want to do is just start working. Knowing that there are very, very obvious limitations because you are working in a browser, I'm just going to use JS Fiddle. Okay, we can resize this as well. So if I happen to, this is, so if I want a very narrow center screen, I don't know why I would, I can do that, or I can stretch it out. This is as wide as it gets. Okay, so this is a pretty wide view. What is that? Probably less than 90 degrees, like 80 degrees across, I think. And then, you know, YouTube, that's a good idea. And then I might want a smaller... Okay, let's see, what's good on YouTube? Music, radio, lo-fi hip-hop radio, okay. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but just a bit of music popping out of my Quest. Don't think you guys can really hear that, but you can totally see, like, I love to have YouTube or Spotify on the side, and I might even run that in the background. Ooh. Huh. That's interesting. As soon as I move this to another tab, so as soon as I use another tab here, it pauses. That is, you know, I think that may be okay, but that does rob you of one of your screens, and I use that very loosely. because, you know, one of your screens has to be consistently on YouTube. That, depending on what you're working on, may or may not flow. Okay, so let's just move this down to a reasonable size first. Okay, and this one to another larger size. Okay, let's go get Bootstrap. Here we go. Here is some documentation on Bootstrap. Let's shrink this down. 50% seems about good. Still trying to get this working. All right, quick start. Okay, so the scrolling is not working great. I don't like how it's not scrolling all that well, but I can. It's much sharper. I am very happy with how this is working. So let's just run this real quick. We have a hello world. See, scrolling just works sometimes and it doesn't otherwise. Do I need anything here? Not at the moment. Okay. You're getting robbed of quite a bit of the vertical space. Oh no, no, no. What have I done? Okay, well. Apply changes. There we go. Okay, let's get to a reasonable size. Okay, I think for JS Fiddle, we're gonna have to go a little larger than that. Okay, other issues, you know, when I try and build a website, you know, I look at something good. Google's not a great idea, but let's just go back to Reuters again. Oops, what have I done? Okay, so normally, you know, I would go into settings and try and view source. I just don't see that option here. So, you know, if I'm trying to not steal, but take inspiration from them, I don't have that option. So let's just get into it. I think I can zoom in a little bit more here. Okay, so 67%. This is very sharp. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this is very sharp for me. 50% is just borderline. Like, I can make it out, but I gotta squint a little bit to try and get into it. So I think 67% is good. But, of course, you know, you are being robbed of a bit of your resolution at 67. You know, I would like to see 50% so that I can see a bit more. Trade-offs, but I think this is fine. So, let's look, and I want a header. Okay, menu. And yeah, so this is a new workflow for me, so I'm obviously going to try and keep this very simple. Let's just build a nav bar into it. See, because the scroll is so unreliable, I think what I'm going to do is just throw this in here. Okay, so now let's tidy that up, and then we run it. Okay, we have a nice cool nav bar here. You know, I'm not making great use of this screen anyway, so let's put on some lo-fi hip-hop. And I am going to shrink this down a little bit. Okay. I'm feeling pretty comfortable here. Navbar, okay, let's get a... Let's get a bit of work here. Okay, where is this drop down? No, we don't want that. Something else, another option. No. Where is the actual name? Ah, here. Okay, let's call this Anson's Oculus Test. Have a bit of text. So what happens here normally is, let me just walk through Bootstrap again. Bootstrap gives you some CSS, some JavaScript, and a lot of classes to work with. And what happens is you can just throw these components that they've already built for you. In this case, I have a navbar, and you want to have everything in the body, and then you start adding each of those individual classes. Okay, we have the header, and then normally I would do a div class equals container to store the last bit, and why am I unable to highlight? That is a problem. Oh, I see. So, one of the problems is the mouse is being used as a cursor. So when it's clicking, it feels like it should be used to drag and drop, almost like a finger touching a tablet. And so it's not well made for you to drag and select. So that is a problem. Let's tidy this up again, run it. Okay, so we haven't really changed much. And then normally I have a footer. Oh, I'm realizing something here as well. Something that I've learned about myself is I am a very poor typist, especially when it comes to brackets, dashes. I have no clue where they are. If you want me to type the alphabet, that's fine. I can't see my keyboard all that well. I can't see my keyboard at all. If I look down, I just see carpet. So if I remove the mouse, I would be able to see my hands, but obviously not the keys themselves. So let me just do the pass-through. Okay, I'm not sure why the pass-through isn't working, but my keyboard is right where I'm staring dead center. But I can't look at it, I can't reference the keys, so if you have a lot of odd syntax and you're not a strong typist like me, as in I'm not a strong typist, that can be a problem. Okay, what do I want to do? I just want to throw a couple... let's play with a carousel. Oh, actually, no. I'll need some images there. I'm just going to throw up an alert real quick at the top below the nav bar. Okay. Oh, and again, see, if I want to copy one of these, that's a problem. And so it makes it very hard to selectively copy any one thing. Okay, let's take this one and put it up here in the container. All right, alert heading. We'll say Oculus test. Alert, let's not call it success. Let's give this info. I think that's yellow. Okay, and then they have created 2 segments, but let's remove that second one. and all of that text. Oops. We're working. Congrats. You're developing entirely on an Oculus Quest, completely untethered to a computer, minus the screen recorder. Okay, see how that looks. Awesome. Oh, info is blue. What is yellow? Should be warning, I guess. Warning. Perfect. And then we have our hello world. Let's see. Kitchen sink. Hello world. We're going to demo Bootstrap, the Bootstrap web framework while working on an Oculus Quest. Okay, you know what? You guys aren't here for me to watch me kind of fiddle around with this. Oh, I notice these buttons here. What happens? Okay, so if I want to move this here, okay. Oh, that's really handy. So if I want to move these screens around, I can click left and right, and I guess shift them around. One thing I have found online is that there's no way to change the verticality of it. So it will always be left and right. There's no way to adjust it for a larger screen. And unlike Immersed, you know, where we could bring a monitor forward or push it out or expand it or do all of these things, Oculus has decided this is it. You get this flat panel to browse the web, and that's it. You can't surround yourself by more, with more, and you can't even have more windows. You just get the 3. I think this is. I think you're getting quite a bit here, but what I wanted to talk about is possibilities of working here. First of all, this is a brand new update. The thing that irks me more than anything is this selecting piece, and then the next is the scrolling, the unreliable scrolling. I think both of these can be fixed pretty easily, and I can't imagine I'm the only one to have problems with that. Now, what I want to say is Visual Studio Code Online. There are, let's move this dead center. There are a number of solutions to bring real development, like IDEs, right onto the web. And so 5 years ago, 10 years ago, saying working on a web browser is a death sentence, that's just not true anymore. We have a ton of people working on Chromebooks, on tablets, and as a result, people are pushing solutions like this one. Okay, this is... What are you doing, Microsoft? This is not the greatest demo in the world. See, scrolling is a problem, but again, I think this is a software issue. So if we go into GitHub workspaces, what you can do is get a cloud-hosted Visual Studio Code right in your browser. And what happens is in the browser, you'll see something like this. And don't worry, I think the image itself is pixely. But you can work right from a browser, you get a tab, and, you know, for me, having multiple tabs here at the reach, that's big. And if I get Visual Studio Code, I can do a great deal of coding. I am very curious to know whether I can start deploying, can do all of those things right from the browser, but at least I have, something familiar, linting, prettying up my code, seeing all of that broken down on the web. That is going to be very useful. Now, one of the problems is, I know that previously, and Microsoft is terrible at this, they called it Visual Studio Online, Visual Studio Web. They've changed names a couple times. And now it's GitHub Code Spaces. What I wanted to say is that the previous version did cost money and it wasn't cheap. I think, well, it's not expensive, but it's not trivial either. So I think it was on the order of $5 to $10 a month. That does cost something. Online IDE. And there are other ones. I haven't heard of cloud-based IDE. I think Code Anywhere. And AWS has their own version of it. This looks pretty good as well. And of course you have even dumber ones. So you can have the IDEs that are not trying to run it off the cloud, but quite literally something on your screen. Oh, did I spell that wrong? Code Sculptor. Okay. Code Sculptor is where I initially first learned how to program. And so, not to... oh, okay. I can zoom out. And so, the people at Rice University, Scott Rixner and a few other professors, they have this amazing course on Coursera. If you're just learning to program, it is fantastic. But they put this up as an online IDE, so you don't have to install a whole ton of stuff to learn their course. But here it is. There's a pop-up. You can click and do various things. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to do, but you can have really simple IDEs, and again, this is a problem, not being able to. So I think your home and end keys and Control A to select all are going to be your best friends here, but this is Python 2, so I think it's just print. Okay, and then you get to print this. And let's see, x equals 2, print, what? So every time I click shift, it has that dot. I'm not sure what that is, but x plus 2, okay, and then we can run it. And so what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of programming tools online to make you, allow you to do things. Like we were just building something on JS Fiddle. And yes, if I had 3 or 4 hours, I can definitely try and make this look a lot nicer than like as generic as it gets. The other thing is, of course, Office 365. And this is what someone mentioned in the comments is Office 365. So many organizations are using it. My workplace is full on Office 365. And you can just work on the web browser. You get your Outlook, you get full Excel, full Word right in the browser, and you can do all of these things. And so if you need to do day-to-day just typing text, you can do that. If you need to do development, there are limitations. You can't get rid of your laptop or desktop computer, but I am frankly quite amazed at how well this is working. You are getting 3 gigantic monitors. If I'm estimating this, I'm thinking it's about in my eye, maybe a 35, like something a little larger than a 32 inch. So let's say 35, 34 inch monitor. This one is roughly the same for both of these. This one's obviously a bit wider, but you're getting 3 massive screens to work with. You are getting a lot of tabs, so if you're like me and you obsessively keep tabs, and you're searching various things. Stack Overflow, how to, no, let's go Bootstrap, CDN. You know, you've all seen, well, for those who aren't new to the channel, you've seen me work. I have about 1,000 tabs running on the side, so this is a great resource, Stack Overflow. I will just move on, go back into my reference, keep this running. This one I might move to a side, keep working over here, and try and build something. If I have Office 365 with some sort of PDF or some Word document, I can do that. If I need to, I can run Gmail on the side, keep track of my email. I wonder if I can use web WhatsApp. I mean, that's not really my workflow, but no. Wrong spelling. I think you gotta request desktop site. So, oh, see, no, it won't work. That's a problem. But I'm just looking for things to pick on. The other thing is, of course, the keyboard. I think if they fix the scroll and they fix this keyboard, or sorry, not the keyboard, but like being able to select. Basically, if they get their mouse support out of experimental features and really get it working, I can see a lot of people being able to just full-time do this. Just work off of the browser all day long. I complained a lot about Immersed. Immersed VR was no good, in my opinion. You know, I want to caveat that. Immersed VR tries to do more than just give you a couple monitors. They want to have a social aspect, so you can jump into a room with your colleagues, you can see their screen, all of that stuff. That means nothing to me. All I care about is whether I can sit down and work. And Immersed VR, that was not a great experience. I'm hoping they can fix and make a better experience, but I think these 3 screens are much, much closer to what I'm looking for. So, those are basically my comments based on, what is this? 30, a half hour of staring at these screens. And what I'm finding is I don't have the headache that I had with Immersed VR. If you haven't seen that previous video, I was actually having a headache by the end of it. And part of it was trying to squint and focus on the text. Part of it was wearing the Oculus, and I don't know, you know, what else it was. But here, I've been talking, I've been trying to work, I've been doing all these things for about half an hour now, and I am perfectly comfortable. I'm sure that by hour 2, by hour 3, you know, I do have a bit of weight strapped to my face, and I want to stretch my neck and so on, but so far I am... No, this is working out fairly well. So, I'll take a break, grab a cup of coffee, come back, stretch my neck a little bit, and I'd be back to work. Okay, so those are my opinion. Those are my kind of impressions. What I'm going to do is just add a couple more elements just to see moving, you know, copy pasting, searching a few more things, maybe for another 5 minutes and call it a day. But, yeah, I'm impressed. I think we're getting very, very close. Okay, so kitchen sink. That's not a great description. Demonstration. Okay, so I'm just gonna call it quits here. Did a very simple form, using Bootstrap. Again, I think in wrapping up, I think we're getting... I think you get the sense of where I'm going here. I think it has been a pleasant experience all around in comparison to Immersed VR. Now, if I was to work on this 8 hours a day and use this as my day-to-day, I think there would be still some problems. Mouse, key, but I think just strapping something in front of your eyes, wearing it all day, it would get tiring. You gotta figure out the ergonomics. You may want to just make sure you are lying on your chair, head back. Whatever helps the ergonomics, I think that is potentially a problem as well over time. I do note that, like, if I'm being honest, I think it's reasonably readable, but it is not 100% clear. So previously, I think the N and the M was, I couldn't quite see the difference. It's still it's very readable, and I think if I had an Oculus Quest 2, the slightly sharper screen would help. Other than that, not bad. Again, limitations of the browser. I think this is worth trying out. If you're considering it for like your day job, no, I don't think it's there. I just don't think it's there. You may want to just borrow a friend's Oculus to try it out and give it a try, but like for the general population, I don't think it's quite there, but it is getting shockingly close. And I think, even if Oculus 100% nails this, with the mouse being able to expand and change the orientation a little bit, getting a slightly sharper screen, you need the tools available on your browser. So you need to make sure that whatever you work on day to day, whether that's Microsoft Office or Visual Studio Code, you need to be able to work on that. Now me, I'm an amateur programmer. I can, it doesn't matter what I use. If I use JS Fiddle, if I use a cloud version of VS Code, but you gotta realize anything on cloud, you gotta worry about privacy. You gotta worry about whether your company policy allows for that, whether they're worried about security, all of those things that crop up. And as somebody who's doing this as a hobby, I have full flexibility, and even then, I have limited number of tools. There's only a handful of IDEs that are online. Office, not everybody has Office 365, and Office 365, as good as it is not the exact same experience. So, if you're doing this for work, there is almost certainly going to be an adjustment period. And it may not be good enough. It may not be polished enough. If you're doing this for fun, I think this is pretty cool. I think I'm going to revisit this. I think I might follow this video up with something more substantial, less about my impressions, more about actually working it through. So, and the other thing you got to worry about is, if you're in the office, your hair gets smushed by one of these things. So, thanks for watching. That was an interesting experience all in all. So, if you own an Oculus, if you are thinking about it and have friends with one, you should try it out. This is a new update, so I think I'm probably one of the first people to do a video on this. Older videos will tell you, oh, you can't pair a Bluetooth keyboard. That would be a very old video. A couple weeks ago, you couldn't use a mouse. And I know that there are new features. The multi-window browser was not always present, and it seems like the resizing and the zooming was not always available either. So, Oculus, Facebook, they're clearly working to making this a better experience. Whether it will get to like 100%, not quite sure. So, sorry, I'm just looking at my own screens right now, and I'm noticing, obviously my Oculus is not as sharp, but and I'm seeing it, and I just don't see this. It's clearer on my actual monitors, but I'm looking back, and I think I can work in it. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. If you enjoyed this video, if you liked it, if you have comments, please leave them below. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. And this video was a direct response to one of the comments in my previous video. So if you have questions, if you have some suggestions, if you think there's something worth trying out, do let me know, because I will test them. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned next time. Thanks.